Today we are cutting 10 to 14 inches off of my husband's hair. Yes, you heard me right, 10 to 14 inches, depending on the area of hair. I'm starting off by spraying his hair with water. He did shampoo it right before this, but he blow dried it as well. So I just need a little damp surface to work with, and now I'm going in with my sectioning. I'm doing a classic split down the middle, square layer haircut. I'm going to cut this hair to where it's longer in the back versus the front so that we finish with more of a U shape in the end. So you'll see that closer to the end. Right now I'm holding up his hair where you can really see the splits. If you don't know, you can identify the splits where the hair starts to get lighter towards the ends. I determined how long those splits were by using my comb. My comb is 7 inches, and I ended up measuring out about 10 inches before cutting it off. Something you'll notice is I do have him looking down right now. If you start your guideline with the person in your chair looking straight ahead or looking up, it can cause the hair to actually be shorter than what was anticipated. So by me having him look down, it slightly elevates the hair so that when he does bring his head to resting position, it's going to be the longer length that we are going for versus being too short. As we get deeper into this haircut and I take the subsections out, you can start to see the splits in his ends even more. I'm just turning him so that you can get a better view of what we've done so far. I almost wish I had a white cape to work with since his hair is darker, but it's okay. I'm sure y'all can see like where his gray shirt shows the splits there. It's just me holding it up so that you can see straight through it. A lot of times when I'm working with clients, I do show them in the mirror before cutting anything, like where their splits are, before just going willy-nilly. Some people are very much attached to their hair, and I just want to make sure that I'm letting them know that my main goal is to keep the hair healthy, but in order to do so, I got to show them where and why I'm cutting what I'm cutting. You can see that nice and up close right where the splits are. Another thing to note about my husband is that he actually wears his hair in a back bun. So in the very first clip, how you can almost see that his hair is lighter towards the perimeter is from any stress and tension from constantly pulling his hair back. So if you or someone you know does like to wear their hair back all the time or wear it up, you may notice the tension may cause like breakage and things like that. The hair might be finer or just less density altogether around the perimeter, especially like around the, like where the temples are. At this point, I'm starting to do a traveling guide where I'm working from the back to the front of his head because I want the back to be longer. And usually when you want a certain area to be longer, you want to pull that hair away from that area. Once I move over to the side for the next subsection, I'm taking a little piece from the previous subsection, and that's my traveling guide. And it's causing the lengths in the back to remain longer, but it's causing the lengths towards the front to be shorter, since that's where we're over directing the hair to. As I get further into this haircut, it's so much easier to comb through. My husband actually uses a brush. I do use a brush to detangle, but I use a comb to cut with. And anytime you're just working with like crazy tangles and things like that, it definitely may be a time for a trim. And I don't even remember. I need to ask him. He hasn't had a haircut since we met. And we met in 2020. So at minimum, it's been at least 4.5 years since his last haircut. So I'm going to get a definite answer from him later and try to include it somewhere in this video of how long it's actually been. Now that I've got my trimmers out and with me, I went ahead and did a beard trim because we are prepping for a wedding/cruise. And we just want to look good. So usually when I do beard trims, I do a consultation just like with your haircut, because it's essentially a haircut but on the face. And what Kenny and I have been doing for his beard is we've just been doing a 1.5. And I always line up the bottom neckline first, the bottom part of the beard, and I start in the middle and work my way out so I can maintain balance. And then I continue with lining up the top part of the beard where the cheeks are. I always do a trimmer over comb technique to do any extra blending or get any extra long hairs that want to stick out. And anytime I do a beard trim, I like to double check the eyebrows to make sure there are no like caterpillar situations going on or a unibrow. And I always ask first if they're comfortable with that, and if not, then I don't deal with it. But since this is my husband and he pretty much just lets me do his eyebrows however. Now that the face is done, I can move on to the neckline. I personally don't like to do like the neck trim and touch the trimmers on the face. I like to do face, then neck. I don't know. It's just a weird thing. I guess it's OCD a little bit. So he does have these sparse, fine hairs towards the back. Again, he does a lot of back buns, and that could be tension. Up close, his hair is actually like a curlier texture towards the perimeter, which it's kind of hard to see from this angle, but we were in the kitchen, so he's working with what we got, okay? But I just did a standard square rounded neckline for him. I just went with this natural. And the way his hair grows in is it's a little higher on the left side, the way it naturally grows in. So on the right side, I do bring it up some to match it. And I usually try to go below the collar when I'm doing neck trims too. To top off this haircut / beard trim, I'm just putting a little powder on his neck to get any extra loose hairs, because we're actually getting ready to head to the airport, y'all. But as you can see, this is the finished ponytail look. That's all the hair on the ground that we lost. And this is just a reminder of our before and how sparse our ends were, and our after and how full and healthy it looks.